Hey y'all, it's Mari. I'm here with
Kiara, aka Kayline Key.
Period. Don't play with her. And today we're going to talk about the transition from girlhood to womanhood. But before we start, we're going to ask Miss Girly over here, what does she do?
So I model and I also sell sunglasses
So make sure y'all get with her, okay?
for men, women, and children. And I have a line dropping very soon.
Say it
So
again.
yes. For men, women, and children, and I have a line dropping very soon. You can follow me on Instagram at shopkline.accessories.
Baby, she said for the whole family. Don't play with her. Okay, so the good icebreaker question. This is very fun for me, okay? So, first question is what song from your childhood would be your theme song if a biography was being done about you?
It's crazy because for the past week, I have been listening to. I got two songs actually. So my first one would be "This Is Me" from High School Musical. I promise y'all, I've been singing that for a whole week straight. So that would be I feel like that would definitely be I feel like my transition in life and where I'm at now, and just having her experience of her just if you watch the movie, you would know she was just she was kind of closed off at first, but then she had to realize I'm her. I can't really hide in the shadows no more. I have to just basically say this is me and this is who I am, basically. So, and then my other song would be "Turn My Swag On" by Soulja Boy. I'm not gonna. I swear, that song had me lit. So I feel like that's the song. Hello.
Okay, so what's funny is we could keep on. Okay. What's funny is I was gonna say this is me too. Like that song lock you in for real. Okay, y'all. So Miss Kiara, she had to go get her notes because she came prepared about this question. So my question was, how did your perception of yourself change during the transition from girlhood to womanhood?
So transitioning, I feel like I had to more so come to the realization that my mom didn't have it all figured out, because I always used to look for her to give that support or feel like she's nurturing in that way, or the support that I need, where I'm feeling like I'm yelling out but you're not hearing me. But it was she was a girl too. She was just a girl going to a woman, still just trying to figure it out. So I feel like I had to just forgive her and forgive myself for not being knowledgeable but still being aware. If that makes sense, making sure so after I realize these things, I ended up becoming more aware and learning to forgive myself for the things that I did not know. So just realizing the things that you need as a girl. I feel like just even just saying when you start your menstrual cycle and just going through that process and having to go through that and feeling ugh, it just having to accept, and it's I really didn't want to accept that too. Just having to still, even till this day, that's why I ended up just still when I had started writing this, I ended up starting it off with words from a girl still figuring out life with God. Because at first, even me, I had to build that relationship with him. So in order to build that relationship, I had to come into a conversation with people like me. And when I did that, it just basically opened my eyes to different things and what God was showing me in my life. So just learning how to discipline myself and listening to him when he's talking. So not more so, like I said, letting go of that control, not feeling like I'm always in control, and letting that transition just happen naturally and not, I don't know.
Okay. I want to say this. Okay. So I feel that you're saying that your perception of yourself changed as far as accepting yourself. So you felt like at first you didn't necessarily accept things concerning you. Okay. All right. Next question. All righty. What is one dream that you are working on achieving that you created for yourself when you were a little girl?
So I've always wanted to model. That was always something that I wanted to do, but I always felt like I just wasn't enough. I always felt like I was always missing something, going outside of myself versus going within myself to build who I needed to be for me. So just being accepting that, because even my mom, they used to take me to auditions and stuff, and I used to be waiting all that time. Even just going to auditions as a kid, you be in line forever, and then you don't even get seen sometimes. So it's just like exhausting. So just working on that consistency. So now that I've, like, when I was living by myself, I had a lot of time to like just focus on me and realizing like what it is that I wanted. And then I actually have a question for you. So I had asked like my family, like, what did they see me like as when I was like growing up or becoming. So, and it was like, you always was like into fashion, you were always da da da. So what are some things that you always felt like you was into, like when you was a girl, like you was like, yeah, this is for me?
Well, we're actually kind of similar. So when I was younger, I was in preschool, y'all. I remember this like it was yesterday. And my mama dressed me up like a tomboy, and I wanted these pink, cute, little furry boots because it was winter in Chicago. And I cried my eyes out, and my grandma came to pick me up, and we went to go get my shoes, baby. And fashion has always been a thing for me, so I always knew I wanted to do something in fashion. I used to want to be a stylist. And my family used to tell me, like, used to call me Miss America. Like, my granddad used to call me Miss America. But I don't think I received it. You know what I mean? Until recently when my journey started with Christ. And it's like, this is me. Like, literally, the song, this is me. And then I was just telling Jordan that I used to do not press on nails. I used to polish my grandmother's toenails when I was little, and she give me like little $5, you know, give me a little money, so I give me some candy. So I think nails has always been a thing for me. That is my favorite part of self-care is nails, getting pampered, getting your feet done. That's my favorite part. So I would say that's my answer. I always saw myself doing something with fashion. I always see myself working with kids because I have that little mother bear type thing. And honestly, I'm an advocate. Like I don't like seeing people down. You know, I would rather help other people than help myself, but I'm learning how to balance that. Exactly. So that's why I say myself.
Yeah, I feel like just learning how to take care of your mind, body, and soul, just becoming, just from being a girl into an adult, because that's what matters the most. Like, it's not more so like I said, searching for everything else. Like, it's really just taking care of you, like even what you're feeding your body, like what you like when you're coming on your period and stuff, and you craving all these sweets and all that stuff. It's not because you want it, it's because it's tempting. And it's like, you're not supposed to feed into the temptation. That's why it's tempting. You're not supposed to go, you know, like how you be like, I know I'm not supposed to do that, but I'm gonna do it anyway. But it be like, see, I told you, if you touch that stove, you're gonna get burned. So
that's funny you said that, because I kid you not, when I come on my cycle, I be like, God, like you did this on purpose, low key, because we're women, you know, the hormones when we on our cycles, like I be wanting to eat so much, and the things that I don't eat when I'm not on my cycle, I do eat when I'm on my cycle. So that's something that's very interesting to me. Next question. How did your cultural background influence your transition from girlhood to womanhood? I want you to think about this one.
Elaborate.
Okay, so when I say cultural background, think about how in some instances, some kids or some girls might have to grow up quicker than other people because their culture tends to do that. You know, like think about quinceañeras, right? Like that's 15. For them, that's you're going into womanhood, things of that sort. So that's the question. How did your cultural background influence your transition?
I'm like, explain it one more time. Okay. Because I want to answer it right. I don't want to say something.
When I say cultural background and its influence on your transition, I'm gonna give you another example. I would think about okay, you know how Black people, we got our bamboo earrings, right?
Okay.
That's cultural. Like, okay, we got our music. You know what I mean? Like, do you feel that maybe music even influenced your transition? So think about things that's connected to our culture that could have possibly influenced your personal transition from girlhood to womanhood.
Okay. So I feel like natural hair, like just learning to accept that. Like even as a girl, like I never had like all of the long hair, and just wanting to be like, oh, I want to be like them. Like, you know, like, oh, their hair is long and my hair is nappy and stuff like that. And just having to accept that and loving like that. part of me. So I feel like that had a major influence on me, because now, even like now, I just have short hair and I embrace my short hair, because it's just like it was never like I said, never something that I was looking for that I didn't have already. So it was just like learning to love me and learning to love the hair that I was like given and stuff like that. So I feel like as a girl, we tend to have those like jealous tendencies of like different things of what you feel like that you should have or that you did not receive. Even like just saying, like I said, from a mothering perspective, where you feel like your mom should have provided you with one thing and you didn't receive that. So just really just learning to just love the skin I'm in and love me for who I am, and just like not letting the outside things affect what's happening on the inside.
I'm happy that you talked about hair, because that's something that I had, baby. That was a strong code. Let's be honest with that. That was a strong code, because for some odd reason, it wasn't like our culture didn't like natural hair at one point. You know what I mean? But since we were growing up, we in the same bracket. Okay, in the same bracket. Since growing up, is like this whole thing of not wearing our natural hair has been something that's pushed out more than wearing your natural hair. And not only that, but you can't pick what type of natural hair you want to love. If like, you like natural hair,
thing. Like you're trying to control something that's not in your control. Like you just gotta look for what it is. Like
if you have short natural hair, you gotta love short natural hair. Yeah, you know, like, let the process. Thank you. You can't do anything about it. Let it grow.
Except for love it and accept it and move on. Because it's like hair. Like when you get older, you realize like, come on now, like you was really mad about that. Like it's so much other stuff that I could be jealous because she closer to God than me. Like that's something I should have been mad about, not because she got longer hair. Like what about her relationship? What about how she's dealing with things throughout her life? It's just like that's just so minor. Like that's just like on the lowest part of the totem pole. So I just feel like I just had to like let that go. So
I agree.
Just like letting go of all of that, like. And getting close to God. I feel like that's just kind of like
where you
the end all be all. Like getting close to God, because that's what's going to help you to transition to.
Thank you. I'm happy you said that. That's exactly what's going to help you to transition. Get with God. Get with Jesus. Okay. Before I get to the next question, I was actually fortunate and great and very appreciative enough to meet someone whose business and purpose is surrounded around natural hair, and her business is called Harriet. Like Harriet Tubman, but Harriet, you know? Crazy. So that's she has nice t-shirts and things of that sort that gives encouragement to our people to wear our natural hair, you know? Yeah. I have a shirt that says hair sparkle, or like kinky, but like because you're, you know, it's cute. So I want to shout out to Harriet. Y'all make sure y'all go support them. What lesson have you learned so far that has helped you in your identity? I want like a specific lesson, because it's a lot, but like one that really comes to your mind.
A lesson that I learned was, let me think.
Thinking.
A lesson. Wait a second.
Okay.
Give me a second. Pause.
Okay, Kiara. What lesson have you learned so far that has helped you in your identity?
Okay, so I feel like the lesson that has helped me in my identity is learning that I'm free to become who I want to be. And not, because I had an experience where I was in high school and I had unprotected sex and I ended up having chlamydia. So I didn't know, but then I ended up discovering this. Okay, got tested, got cured, and then later on in life, I ended up finding out like that my I lost a fallopian tube. So this is actually the first time I ever talked about this stuff.
Thank you for feeling safe.
Okay, yeah. So
Let the tears out. You have to cry.
I know.
Somebody said, I'm gonna share this. Somebody said when you hold in the tears is a wall that begins to build up in your heart. Okay? Thank you, girlie.
So yeah, I ended up losing the fallopian tube, and I was like in distraught. Like,
Yeah.
I'm never gonna have kids, and it was just like a big thing for me.
I want a hug now.
Yeah.
Hugs. But that's why you have that motherly thing, because you can still be a mother, you know, because it's people out there who needs the love that you give.
Yeah.
So the lesson you learned was, repeat that one more time.
Was that I was free to become, like,
Okay.
and not just like letting that like define like who I am,
Yes.
or like what I was going to become.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Thank you. We love you for sharing. Okay. Who is going to be somebody very fortunate to have you as a motherly figure in their life. You know, you might be a mentor, girly. You know, you might have your own group of children who's going to be there, who you need to love. And that's the thing. Even when you think about the story of Moses, okay? When his mama and she had to give him away, but she ended up still taking care of him somehow. You know what I mean? You never know how things would play out.
Yeah.
So I want to give you that encouragement, because you are a mother and you still would be able to have a child. Let's get that straight.
Okay.
Satan, don't mess with her head. She's a mother, in that order. Anyways, who determines your beauty?
I feel like I do, and God do.
Yes.
And of course, God first, everything. But I feel like that you are beautiful in your own way. Like, you can't, like, nobody is the same. Like, literally, God made us all in His image. So I feel like just like it's inner beauty.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, my slogan for my shades is K, because K-Line stands for beauty within. So it's like beauty deeper than the skin, like not just like looking on the outside, like, oh, she got this or they got that. Like, what do you have that they don't have? But because it's like you always probably like think like just because they have this or just because this, they don't mean that they got it all figured out or that they have it all together. Like, even like how people like idolize celebrities and stuff like that. And it's like,
they're human.
They do the same thing. Like, they do the same thing we do. They make the same mistakes that we make. Is the difference is that theirs are publicized and ours aren't. So it's like we get to hide in the shadows and be who we want to be, and then judge them for being who they are. And it's like, who are you to judge them when you are doing the same thing or doing the same actions? But it's like what you feel like they supposed to portray a different light because they're in the light, but everybody is not saved. So it's like, why would you even feel like that they should be portraying something that it's not?
I love that you said that. Everybody's not saved.
Like, everybody is not saved. Everybody that you come across is not a godly person. And it's not a bad thing, because I'm not forcing anything on you. It's like, either you are like, of course I can help you, I can guide you, but it's like you have to, the first step is for you to accept it. So, and I was just even talking about how coming into agreement with God and not being so conflicted, because when I was reading in verse 425, John verse 425, and it was just saying like when she ended up coming to agreement with what Jesus said, she birthed the Messiah. So it's like, I could make a whole different change, and it's like crazy. And then my alarm is going off, and it says, I prayed to the Lord, He answered me, and He freed me from all my fears. So it's like, stop being fearful. Like, stop being fearful. Like, fear is like so conflicting because you're scared of something, or letting something penalize you that didn't even happen. So it's like, how are you scared of something that didn't happen? That's how your mind becomes trapped, because you're scared of the inevitable. It's like, you can't, like, you got to live through it. Like, you can't like control, like I said, what it leads back to. That control. And it's like everything always comes full circle for me. So it's like when I have these conversations and I'm able to express myself, it always comes full circle. And I know that, God is in the center of that. And he always just shows me like, this is what you're supposed to be doing, and this is where you're meant to be. So I love that. Thank you.
We're going to stop right there because we got one more lady here. Can y'all go get Renaya? Okay.
And we will be right back. We're gonna miss food real quick.
Okay. What is your favorite compliment to tell yourself? And what is your favorite compliment to hear?
I'm gonna start with my favorite compliment to hear is that I'm doing a good job. Mm-hmm. And then my favorite compliment to myself is that I am beautiful.
Lovely. What words do you tell yourself? And this might be the same thing.
Yeah.
What words do you tell yourself when you begin to feel insecure or like just not yourself? You know, you ever just have those days where you just feel like this is just not me. Mm-hmm. What words do you tell yourself to encourage yourself?
I tell myself, you are patient, you are kind, you are smart, you are beautiful. You are going to make it. Like, you aren't in doubt. Like, I have to tell myself when I'm not too. Like, so I'm like, okay, you're not worrisome. You're worry free. Like, we changing the subject, like, because you are in control of your mind. And then I feel like so many people like are oblivious to that. So like, just being able to control my thoughts. So like, a lot of people like, oh, I got a headache, or I'm da-da-da. Like, okay, you need to get into prayer. Like, that means you got too many thoughts going on in your mind where you're not able to like focus them and center them on God. Like, I'm sorry, but you just like, you over here, you over there, and you not like focused. So I'd be like having to tell myself like reshift, refocus, and rewind, and like just kind of have a little quiet time, like where I give myself 10 minutes of space where I'm just like quiet, where I'm like listening. And it's like, in that silence, that's when you're supposed to listen the most. So that's why I try to do like just more so. And I focus on like I said, like I'm focusing on my words. So I want to rephrase that. I'm not trying to do it. I'm working towards doing it more. Period. So it's like when you say try, it's like try. Like, no, I'm doing it. So yeah. So I just try to focus on that more. Okay. We're working on focusing on that more.
And the scripture reference that you actually just reminded me of is Psalms 46 verse 10. Be still and know that I am God. So when you have all those thoughts and you get anxious and worried, like I have to do that today when I was driving, like, okay, what do I remember about God? He's with me. I have everything I need, you know, so stuff like that. And even when you said the try thing, that recently came to me, like one of my mentors, she was telling me, and it had nothing to do with God, but I applied it to God as well. Apparently from I applied it.
Everything.
Okay, so she said, if apparently it's a quote from Star Wars. I never watched Star Wars before. So she said, it's no such thing as trying. You either do or you don't. I said,
You either doing it
or you not.
Like, so you're not trying to do nothing. Like, I'm trying to go to work. No, are you going to work? Okay. I'm trying to make it on time. No, are you going to be on time? Like, no, you're not trying. At this point, you have to just do. You can't just be saying that.
Oh, almost done.
Oh, this one is finna hit.
Okay. How do you keep your heart clean? Yeah, how do you keep your heart clean?
So I keep my heart clean by being in relationship with like-minded people as me. So when I'm like not, like I say, not where how you say it's clean, like when I feel like I'm uneasy or I feel like my spirit is like, I don't know, like down, I try to come in alignment. Well, I work towards coming in alignment with people that are like-minded as me. And it's not even like I look for it. It's more so God putting it in my face and are you going to do it or not?
Okay.
So I feel like, so like my best friend, like when I met her, I was at a point in my life where I was like confused. And she had told me like, if you confused, it's not God.
Yeah.
So she was like, if you're left like any kind of way, then it's not God. So she helped me to actually like build my relationship to like be more accepting of that. So yeah.
Thank you. Speaking about God, what is your favorite promise from God?
The plans that he has for me. Ooh. The plans that he has for me. Jeremiah 29:11. That goes off every day at 12 o'clock. And it's for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. So being accepting of that, knowing God's promise. Because God, he's going to show you. It's like, are you listening?
Heavy on it.
That's it.
I love that. She just came up with the scripture, baby. She came with the scripture, Jeremiah 29:11. Okay. This one I love. What boundaries do you live by? Not only with other people, but with yourself as well.
Okay, so I'm actually in the stage of learning boundaries. I've been living with no boundaries. And like I said, the older I get, the more that I realize that I did not have boundaries. And even like the relationship, we're going to go back to the relationship with my mom. And realizing like, yeah, I may be your kid, but I'm not a kid anymore. I'm a woman. So I feel like I can understand you better and I can have a better relationship with you, but you have to meet me where I'm at. So I'm at the stage where I'm like, okay, I'm here and I'm focused on growth. So it's like I'm helping the people around me, but they have to be accepting of it. So like not seeing me for who I was and seeing me for who I am. So like, you know, like your family, they so used to like even just starting a dream. Like your family so used to you doing the same thing, starting something, being inconsistent. And of course, those are going to be your biggest, you know, like the people that don't support you the most. Like when you start something. And it's not a bad thing. Like we haven't been taught these things. And I was just even listening to Sarah Jakes earlier, and when she was saying how you're free to become, and she said something like, people are always like, I know we focused on like passing down generational wealth, passing down generational, you know, like cars and money and all of this. And it's like, if you pass down like God's word, none of that even matters, because wherever you are, he's going to meet you where you're at. So like, I had to like still change, but even though the people around me weren't changing, I still had to change and evolve and like talk to them different, say things to them differently that make them think differently. You know, and I had to express to my mom how she made me feel as a girl and growing up, and how I feel like she favored my older sister. So it was like I had to come in agreement with God, like, why you mad at her favor? That's not her fault. Like, you can't be mad at her for having favor. So it's like just being accepting of that, because you got favor too. So yeah.
And not only that, but even coming here, I realized that I do have favor too. But sometimes, going back to the love, sometimes you have a hard time receiving love, and you also can't reject the favor either.
Exactly.
Receive the favor as well, you know?
So like learning boundaries, I feel like that's where I'm like kind of like head butting it, because it's like, of course I want to continue to do the same things that I've always been doing, but like not allowing people to enter your life the way that they do, because what you allow is what will continue. So like I feel like the biggest boundary for me is self-control, like not allowing somebody else's feelings or words affect what it is that I'm doing. Because you know how people be like, oh, I did this because you did that. Like, no, you did that because you wanted to do that. So letting go of that.
Thank you for that. You have 2 more questions. We almost done. Okay. Were there any books, movies, or other media that played a significant role in you understanding who you are and as you were becoming a woman? Any movies, books, any else, things of that sort?
Could it be a person, or like, or what do you want to be?
I really want to be something like more books, more movies, or other media, you know, like YouTube or whatever the case may be. But if you don't have anything, we can definitely talk about a person. Let me know.
Okay, so say the question again.
Okay, the question is, were there any books, movies, or other media that played a significant role in your understanding of becoming a woman?
I feel like that all media played a part, and I would say like just like kid movies like Madagascar and Lion King and stuff, and of course you just seeing that, and like you don't realize like how powerful like movies and stuff are, or the messages that are in them. So like just realizing like, you know, like how when Simba, you know, was going through the stuff and all of that, and it was like, yeah, you might have felt like, why would God be doing this? Or like even in your life, you're like, why is God doing this to me? Why not? You know, like, how do you know that this is not what you need in order to become?
Oh, love that.
In order to become. So it's like, you have to just be accepting. Like, it's just acceptance.
I love that, because for me, it's that Arthur theme song. Every day when you walking down the street. Like, the message behind that. The message was believe in yourself.
As a kid, you are oblivious. Like, but it's not because we want to be. It's because we weren't taught. And that's what I want to be. Like, I want to be that influence where I'm teaching, I'm talking through, I'm walking through these stages, and I'm accepting life. Like, I'm not just being like just here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm literally like getting it out, like just letting it flow, like how you just saying, like just crying, like, and I try to like just do that more. So it's like not being desensitized to the world.
And to yourself.
Yep.
Last question. I love this question. What are some healthy ways you've learned to let go of versions of yourself or any other attachments that you have to let go in order to be the woman you are called to be? How do you let go?
Okay, so I was actually like going back to Sarah Jakes, and she was just saying, like, read the question one more time.
What are some healthy ways you've learned to let go of versions of yourselves or any other attachments?
Okay, so in order to like let go, I have to continue practicing what it is that I let go of. So she was just saying, like, basically, like how you're favored, like you overcome something, and then you don't want to get too far away from the something that you overcame, where you forgetting what God helped you to overcome. So you have to just stay like more so, like, I'm not even saying like attached to it, but like she referenced alcoholism, like how people always would be like, I've been 12 years sober, I've been 12 years clean, but they're still an alcoholic. It's just that they overcame it. So that like that piece of thing, like that thing that they're holding on to, that just helps them to know, like that, like the words of affirmation, like help them to know more so, like, you overcame this, but don't forget where you came from. Like, I feel like a lot of people overlook that, but it's not even as in a bad thing. Like, it's not like I'm saying, yeah, you never gonna be nothing, you always gonna be an alcoholic, but it's just like, never forget who you were.
So what you're telling me is like, we got to be like, yeah, I overcame that relationship,
but
I haven't talked to that man in 6 months.
But
God got me through it.
Exactly.
God got me through it.
God got me through that. Like, I'm not gonna keep on saying like, yeah, I did this on my own, because you will forget his favor.
Gotcha.
You know, and you will feel like that you doing it. And it's like, he like, girl,
I let that door close.
So you better remember me, because I'm the one, I'm the end, I'm the all, everything. Right. So it's like, you don't forget me in those moments where you're flourishing and you're becoming. Like, always remember, like, you can be back in this place. Not saying that he's going to put you back there, but just knowing, like, not forgetting. Thank you so much, Kiara, for this conversation. You were great. I love it. Yeah. So I am Amarielle. I'm Kiara, aka Kaylani.
And this was our conversation about the transition from girlhood to womanhood. Mwah. Okay, we're done. Okay.